Today we're going to be reviewing and giving our first impressions on a brand new game that is in early access, set to release on the 18th, Fishing Sim World. Don't go anywhere, guys. Let's get right into this. Fishing Sim World is a new fishing game released by Dovetail Games, who in the past have had some good releases, some questionable. But this game right off the hop looks impressive graphically. I must say the casting techniques are quite enjoyable, and there seemed to be a little bit of depth, part of the pun. However, there are a few things that we're going to touch base on that I felt might be a little bit lacking, and might be the breaking point for you if you're trying to consider whether you want to buy this game or not. Now let's take a look at a few of the fishing mechanics. Now you have a couple choices on how you want your casting to go. I took the more inclusive style, the more advanced if you will. You have to hold your mouse button, pull back, and push forward and release at the right time in order to get a proper cast, and it is quite easy to mess up. Takes a couple turns and you'll get it pretty quick. Once your line is in the water, you will need to adjust your reel speed in order to keep that, and strike at the right time, of course. But you have to adjust your reel speed to keep that lure working as it's intended. Now, we'll talk a little about lures in a second, but as you can see, I've got a fish on and I've got to play with it. Now, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, I can adjust the tension. So I can put it up or down, I can adjust my reel speed. You got to fight the fish and bring it all the way in. And this stage of it, actually, I found quite enjoyable. I thought the reeling mechanics, it could go either way for me. It's going to take a little bit more play before I am really on board if I like what they've done or not. I tend to compare fishing games to the likes of Fishing Planet. Now, as you can see, the animation, once you've caught the fish, it shows it off, gives you the weights, if it's your personal best. It's quite enjoyable. Now, you are given a lot of freedom in the game. You have multiple maps you can choose all around the world. You can jump in your boat and travel the lakes, find those spots, those hot spots where you're going to catch the big ones, and areas that only certain fish will be, and you are given a lot of different types of lures right off the bat. I imagine there's more to unlock as you go, but as this is a first impressions, this literally is the first time I've played. So we're going to head in here. You can see on the fish finder, our depth finder is working pretty good. We got a lot of fish in here. So we're going to just try and line the boat up a little bit, catch those guys coming through the mouth of this little inlet, and see how we make out, and talk a little bit more about the mechanics, and we'll touch base on some lures and what you can expect early on in this game. Okay, so we're pretty well lined up. You hit your Q on PC, climb onto the bow, and proceed to fish. The game is very picturesque. I think they've done a very nice job with the immersion of being there. Okay, so back to the casting. We pull back, we push forward, we release, and we got 35 yards. Now, depending how you reel and what your speed is at, and of course the tension when you're fighting the fish, you can see in the bottom left it tells you. Right now, I need to be moving it constantly with this lure. There's certain settings that each lure will perform at, and it does show you that. Now, I need to strike. We got a perfect strike. You're getting the idea of the fishing mechanic now. So now we need to lure this in. And I don't even know what it is we have online yet, whatever's on the hook itself. That depends a lot on the bait or the lures that you use. Some of them are good for, all types of fish. Some are good for certain types of water. Some for deep and that sort of thing. Okay, so we'll pull this guy in. He's going to take a little bit, I can see. He's got a good little play on it. And I do like the fact that there is a bit of a fight. The last fishing game I played was Far Cry 5, and that had a certain level of easiness to it. All right, give me a second. We'll pull this guy up and see how we made out. So I do like the fact that we can adjust the drag. It adds a little more sense of realism to it. As you can see, I'm kind of playing around with it here. As this guy's putting up a bit of a fight. Do you want too much drag? Do you not want enough? Is your line gonna snap? I haven't snapped a line just yet, but not to say that that won't happen. Now, the feeling of reeling in a fish when you have a fish on is not bad. I must say, and obviously this is probably one of the biggest things that gamers look for in a fishing game is the fight. What sort of play is the fish gonna give? Well, as time goes on, we will learn and we will figure out what we should have our drag set at, what sort of speeds we should be using with these fish. But as you can see, this guy does not want to come in easy. I find myself, as you've noticed, watching the tension. Many times he's brought it up into the red as he pushes, so you need to figure out how to move your rod accordingly. You need to figure out what sort of settings you need. Your speed is another thing. With too much speed, you know, the fish, you know, they're going to tire regardless, but it seems that with too much speed, you have a very good chance of snapping your line. Now we're getting them closer to the boat here. Oh, I'm kind of curious what we got. We might have a pike on, would be kind of cool. Let's see if we can get him in. We should get a net icon anytime here. This is where it really comes down to it. If you have a poor strike when the fish is at the lure, you're going to lose it. If you have a good strike, well, a good or a perfect, you're going to be able to keep them on throughout the duration of the fight. Okay, so he's got to be getting tired. Oh, I know that I'm getting worked over here. Oh, this virtual rod. Well, everything's going quite well. This should be it. Try and pull him to the boat. My goodness. I imagine that they're going to get even more tough than this. I have caught a trophy fish. It was the 4th fish I caught. Which leads me to my next point, is that there are trophy fish. There is a purpose for getting out here. Not only do you have your personal best, but you do get the trophies. It's kind of nice the way they have presented the fish when you catch it, which if I manage to bring this one in, holy, I probably got my drag a little too high. But if I manage to bring this one in, you'll get to see it here. It's neat the way they present it. Okay, we've got the net icon. We're about to grab him. It is a northern pike. Pretty cool. Look at that, my friends. He is a monster. Wow. And you see, they really show it off well. This is my personal best, a 32-pound, 12-ounce. Oh, yeah. He was 49.60 inches long. Bit of a beast. Okay, now we're going to take a closer look at a few of the customizations to the game, what you can do with your gear, and we're going to take a quick look at the boats and a few of the menus. Now you can do single player, you can do online in the league, tutorials, there is a shop, you can customize your gear, and you have an angler's log. We'll start with the log. It shows your trophy catches and the different species. It's kind of cool. I don't have a whole lot to this yet as I just started, but you can take a look and see my northern pike that we just caught was 32 pounds, 12 ounces. When you get it bigger, you'll be able to come in here. So it's kind of like having a nice place where you can gather it all together. Kind of a lodge, if you will, holding all of your beautiful catches. So we got that out of the way. Let's take a look at what we can do with the customization. Now, there's very basics given to us here for the appearance. You can adjust your head, model, outfit, hairstyle, all those sorts of things. Not a lot of options. That's it. You don't have very many. Hairstyle, same deal. You get about a dozen, or half a dozen, sorry. Eye colors, you know, outfits, you can kind of play through them. There's not a whole lot. There may be more to come to the game, but they do give us something to at least somewhat customize. I do feel it was lacking. My favorite part's the hats. So we're just going to go with the bait shack, I do believe. There we go. Confirm that bad boy, and off we go. Okay, so that's the gist of that. Now, for the equipment, you have a few more options. You have 3 rods. Each one comes with its already set default, which you can adjust, obviously. You can head down here, and if you want to change your reel. I would think this gives us options for more to come in the game. Perhaps we earn more, but what you start with does give you a few choices. If you want a heavier pound test, that sort of thing. Here's what got me. There is quite a few baits to start with, and as you'll notice, some of them are good for, like this one's for deep water. This one is for the bass. It's the most effective one. Then we got the golds and so on and so forth. You start with a few. Well, I guess a few more than a few. There's a lot of fewing, Beard. But it does give you options. You know, for instance, this rainbow special is good for submerged weed beds. You do find this on some of the lakes, so depending where you're fishing, you can really get into this. Time will tell if there's more to add to that. We do have options to go to our setup on the Fishing League. This is for online play. And of course, there is the Championship, which I have not dabbled in yet. I do like the fact that there is some room for expansion. Okay, the boats. At the moment, we got 3. And 2 of them perform the same. One of them is definitely lacking on the speed. I'm not sure why we would choose that over the rest. Personal visual styles, perhaps. I've chosen this one myself, the Odyssey Limited. And if you look at, sorry, let me go back in here for a sec. We do have wraps that I guess you earn as you go. Now to quickly talk about price tags. Well, available right now on Steam, you can pick the game up for $45.99. Let's round that up to 46, why don't we? Or you can get the deluxe edition for $56.99. Now that is in Canadian, so the prices will vary a little bit depending where you are at. If you purchase the game on the pre-order, you will have access before the game is released on the 18th, which at the time of this recording is 1 day away. Some may refer to this as a steep price for what we get here in the game, and I might tend to agree. However, there is no monthly fee, there is no pay-as-you-go. It is a one-time pay model, so depending on the amount of game time you get out of the game, that's typically how I measure if a game lives up to it. If I get enough time and I feel I've reached that value, then I would recommend it. At this point, I can't give my recommendation if it is worth the money. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, however, it does feel an awful lot like Euro fishing. It seems as if it's just been a little bit repackaged, perhaps, and brought to us in a new state. I haven't come across any real bugs, but I have read on the Steam forums, which, by the way, are getting a mixed review, that there are some bugs to contend with. So I'll let you know as I continue on, but my overall first impressions of this game were a good one. I have enjoyed it. Yes, there is room for improvement, but it has just been released, and I expect that we will see something over the next little while. We'll keep our eye on it, and I'll let you guys know what I find out in the future. Do me a favor, my friends, let me know in the comment section down below if you've bought this game, what you think of it, where there could be improvements, or maybe they don't need improvements. By the way, let me know what your best catch is so far. I'd love to hear about those trophies. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have found this video enjoyable, helpful, or maybe even a little bit entertaining. Do me a favor if you had, smash that like button. Do it with two hands if you gotta. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, tag the little bell beside it if you're new here. Make sure to come on out for our live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. where we're heading out into the glorious game of Call of the Wild for a little bit of a hunting simulation. And I will catch you guys all in Discord. Make sure to smash all those links that are coming up on your screen right now. And thank you so much, my friends. We'll see you next time. Yes, sir.